Hi, Marge. This is our last interview, and it's a therapeutic interview. And we talked just a little bit before we came in, and I was wondering if you thought of a situation or a problem that you'd like to maybe just talk about today, that we could deal with.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess I'd like to talk about my sister.
Is your sister older than you are?
No, she's younger. I think it's been maybe 2 years. It's been like a year and a half ago that she went through a treatment program. And I guess I've just been feeling really angry about things that she's been doing. And I know that I can't do anything, to stop her from doing what she's doing.
But you still have a concern, and you somewhat feel, because she's your sister, not really responsible, but that you should be interacting in some way.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I know that I can't help her, and maybe that's what's the frustrating part of it.
Has she, okay, you said she went to get help with
Yeah,
this?
she went to a treatment program.
Mm-hmm. Has this been helping her at all?
Well, no, I guess that's,
That's why you're feeling. Is there maybe a reason why you don't feel like you can really do anything about it? Just because it's her life, or is there...
Well, it's her problem. I mean, the alcohol and the drugs are, it's her disease. It's not my disease, and I can't, snap my fingers or get angry and scream and yell at her to stop. And I guess about the only thing I can do is tell her that I'm angry with her.
How does she react to you wanting to help in some ways, or just be involved?
Well, see, it hasn't, I've been doing a lot of thinking about this, and it hasn't gotten to the point that we can even communicate about this, because she's trying to cover it up in front of me, especially. And I just haven't come right out and said, listen, I know that you're using, and I know this, and I know that, and I'm really angry because I spent a week with you trying to help you get your life together, and you're not doing anything about it. So it's really, I guess I've just been trying to think through the whole process of how I'm going to approach her, and if I'm going to approach her. And it seems like, there's a timing element involved, because she doesn't live in town. And when I see her, there's usually other family around.
So it's not what I'm hearing. It sounds like when you do see her, it's not the right opportunity, just because you get together, and it's not like that's what you're gonna start dealing with and stuff.
And she's smart enough to know how I feel without even asking me. So she makes a real attempt to avoid any communication like that in front of me. But to my other sister, she'll go buy the 12-pack of beer and drink it, right in front of her. And
have you discussed it with your other sister?
Well, somewhat. I was the only family member other than my parents that went to my sister's treatment program, the week of Family Week. Yeah, the rest of the family was pretty uninvolved, and it's real hard to explain to them what alcoholism really is.
If they haven't gotten it back.
And they kind of take the position that it's her problem and she has to solve it, and there isn't anything I can do about it, so why worry?
Through this family week, have you found out that it really, the person does need the support of the family, and the family really should be involved? Was that kind of the emphasis that they gave?
Yeah, I think it's a real important thing, but you can't change that.
Right. Where do you go if they're not gonna? Okay. Do you feel like there's something deep you'd like to discuss about this, or do you feel okay about what you've shared with me?
Well, I guess, I just have to keep sort of mulling it over in my own mind. And just be ready, when the time comes to talk to her about it, just to let her know, I can't shoo her out, and I know that. But I think that I need to be real honest with her about how I'm feeling. And just see, kind of response I get.
I can imagine it's a hard situation just from the little I'm dealing with a friend, and it's not the close bond. It's real hard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's a real, sometimes you just sort of want to step out of the family and go away. It doesn't seem like anybody else really cares.
Well, thank you for sharing that. For the time you spent.
Good morning, Kathy. Hi, March. You should come on into my office and have a seat here. I guess I don't really have any idea. My secretary didn't write down, specifically why you've made this appointment with me, but generally I just let you sort of take the lead in the first session here so that I can get an idea of what you'd like to talk about.
Okay. I guess I'm really concerned with the fact that next year I'm an RA in the dorms, and this year I'm an RA, but it's in the apartments, and I'm dealing with a different situation next year.
What specifically is an
Okay,
RA?
this year, I'm sorry.
What specifically is an RA? What does RA stand for?
Oh, resident assistant.
Okay.
Okay. This year I'm just dealing a lot with the upperclassmen and people who are really, I feel, pretty stable in the decision, the careers they've made, and their roommates, and they've been away from home. So I really am not dealing with things that I know I will next year, and I'm kind of concerned of the way that I might approach people.
Are you an RA right now, or next year you will?
I am an RA right now in the apartments.
You are an RA right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And next year I'll be in the dorms, and I know I'll be faced with freshmen and problems like homesickness, roommates because they don't get to choose their roommates. Things, I guess, what I've heard through other RAs is that they've dealt with suicide issues, alcoholism, different things like that where I haven't really touched on yet this year.
Sounds like you're going to be responsible for making a lot of decisions.
Right, a lot more responsible than I am right now. So.
Do they give you any kind of training at all?
Yeah, they do. We have a week training. And I guess I haven't really reflected on what I learned last year that much, just because I haven't put it into use this year.
I see. Okay. So you've already had that week's training, and you're supposed to be able to deal with these issues next year in the dorm.
I will have another week training in August.
Oh, okay.
But I'm just not really sure on different things. I guess the big thing is suicide, and I'm not sure how to tell if a person maybe has a slight problem or a major problem, and if maybe I'm being nosy, if I'm, asking them about it, or too concerned, or maybe if I'm not being concerned enough. I don't really know where to draw the line on a person. So that's something I'm kind of anxious about for next year.
So in thinking about that, how do you think you'll handle that kind of a situation? It sounds to me like you don't want to be somebody that just jumps into a problem, but you don't want to wait too long because you're feeling real responsible for what the outcome of the situation is.
Exactly.
Have you thought about how you might handle, say, say one particular situation? Say it was a suicide?
I guess I thought a little bit about it, and I thought, if I see a problem, you know, it's going to be something obvious, so there'll be something that I can work with and, you know, flip around in my head as to what's going on. I guess if I'm not really sure about it, I'll probably talk to the residents, or our boss, who is Chris Christensen. He's resident and director of housing, and he has training in counseling, so I think he'd be real good in just helping me to assert what's going on.
Mm-hmm. So there is someone else that you can turn to. You don't have to totally make the decision on your own. If it's a real...
I guess if I'm really not sure, there are professional people that I can turn to. But I don't always want to be running to them too if there's, well, maybe there won't be that many problems, but, you know, if there are, I don't want to always have to be seeking out someone.
It seems to me like you've been doing a lot of thinking about this, and that you're probably
more prepared than I think.
Yeah, I think so. I think that at least by thinking about them and determining what you can do in given situations and knowing that someone else is there, that you've always kind of got a backup if you feel like...
Yeah, that's right.
I think it's probably very normal to feel a little insecure about, you know, your own capabilities.
I guess, too, just because I'm dealing with other people's lives or different, you know, things that might have major effects on them. You know, it's not just me.
I know that even myself, I sometimes, you know, just don't give myself enough credit. And I think people on the whole tend to do that.
Yeah, that's true.
Is there anything else that I can help you with today? Or?
Not really. I guess it just really helped that you kind of reflected that, you know, I am okay on how I'm feeling, and that my choice of seeking out professional help is maybe the right thing to do. So it's good just to have that reflected upon me, that maybe I should be more confident in, you know, what I've thought about stuff. So.
Well, if you ever need to see me again, I'm available here. I have a 24-hour answering service, so if you can't reach me here at the office, there's always someone ready to take a call. So if you need to call me again sometime, please
Great.
feel free to.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Kathy.